Hello and welcome again to the Holy Duck tournament. Game number 6, it will be La Boucherie versus One Love Roller Dolls or Antwerp A, the A team from Antwerp. And this will be the team rosters. 07 Cherry Mosh Pit, 102 Saramiti Jane, 13 Queen Laquifa, 221 Sherlock Holmes, 404 Eileen, 5 Wildcard, 89 Hipshot, 10 Majimbu, 12 Check, 2 Freckles, 357 Dark Pistol, 49 Eau de Vilaine, 8 Hellfreya, 91 Lieutenant Savage. And for Boucherie, 101 Armadillo, 13 Bouillot, 17 Petit Tonnerre, 4 Payette, 557 Peppermint, 80 Chaffon, 974 Silent Wheels, 117 Cabrita, 1312 Nick Labac. And we are have started Armadillo versus Hipshot. Lead for Boucherie. Lots of trouble in the pack and Armadillo being forced to call off because Antwerp was in the front and Armadillo knew that they were not going to score any points without making sure that Antwerp was also not going to be scoring points. So 0-0 on the board for the start. We had a little bit of a hiccup with the scoreboard and that's why we are running a little bit late. But here we are, everything is fine and we are here with the roller derby. 1 point for Boucherie, nice done. It was a quick start, quick jam. Wildcard versus Bouillot. Wildcard in the front with the lead. We have Bouillot in the back with the star in hand, but also Hellfreya eyes on the pivot. Pivot for Antwerp doing some offense. Bit of a fall there on the inside line. Wildcard struggling against that strong defense from Boucherie. And still on initial Boucherie. So scoring pass for Antwerp at this point. Some points have been scored. Nick Labac off to the penalty box. We have a bit of a standstill in our offense by Czech, giving some extra room for Wildcard, but the wall of Boucherie is really quick with the recycling, so good job. Bouillot still with the star in hand, working on initial. Pivot of Boucherie staying close. Wildcard to the box with a back block penalty. Bouillot finishing the initial. Pivot of Boucherie to the box. Bit of chaos on the track. Bouillot on the first scoring pass, being recycled back. All the way by Antwerp. Wildcards out of the pack, out of the box. 4 points each. So 5 Boucherie for Antwerp. Third game for both teams. Boucherie had a loss before with Antwerp, but a win with Valencia. Antwerp 2 wins in the bag, so hoping to win all probably. Queen Laquifa jamming on the outside, Silent Wheels in the middle and the back. Look at that strong tripod. Queen Laquifa really breaking up that wall together with Saramiti Jane as offense. Silent Wheels being recycled by a pivot of Antwerp, Lieutenant Savage. The recycling, however, was a bit messy, so Silent Wheels could pass on the outside line. Queen Laquifa already on a scoring pass, but struggling with that very strong defense from 1 point scored. A little bit of a long, late call off. It was shouted pretty loudly, but sometimes it's hard to hear inside of a pack. So Antwerp taking a small lead here, 7-6. Before it was Boucherie in the lead. 3-1 for that last jam. So not a high-scoring jam. We have hip shots together with Payet on the jammer line. Everybody really close to the jammer line. Payet stuck in the back. Antwerp with the lead. Good star pass, but nice viewed by... oh, no star pass. I thought it was a star pass. Sorry. And we see hip shot really breaking up that wall almost immediately. Being able to score using their blocker as a sort of storm ram to get through the pack. Payet finishing the initial pass, while Hipshot does a beautiful jump on the outside line and therefore completing a second scoring pass. 8 points on the board for Antwerp, 0 for Boucherie, 15-6 on these first 6 minutes that have already been played. So as I said before, this concludes their final game of the tournament for both teams. Number 13 and 14 playing each other in the European ranking. So pretty close and well matched. Armadillo on the inside. Wild card more in the middle. Wall for Antwerp kind of bumping into the wall for Boucherie. Wildcard getting, rolling that wall up, having a little bit of difficulty with making more space for themselves, but we can say the same for Armadillo, who is nicely on that inside line. Good offense, but not good enough for Shelock, who was able to close that gap quite quickly. And then again, beautiful job there by the defense for Boucherie, not leaving space for Wildcard to pass, or and now with the recycling, still no initial. Or no, wildcard is lead, sorry. No initial for Armadillo, but that is a line now. 2 players in the box though for Antwerp. Forearm penalty, 3 people in the box for Antwerp. Leaving Shelock on their own devices. A completed star pass for a completed second scoring pass for Armadillo. Not much help for Wildcard there, who is really struggling in that strong wall. And we have the call off. 1 blocker out of the box, so only 1 blocker in the box for Antwerp. They were trying to clean the box, and I think Shelock chose not to go for too much extra penalty problems, bringing Boucherie up really close, 14-15 on the board. Also a shout out to our amazing refs. We have Mike Micro on the outside reffing, who loves to make refs or officials out of derby players. Wow, nice jump by Bouillou. Unfortunately, that was a penalty. No, I don't know which one it is. Queen Laquifa being recycled back, no initial yet. Full offense, this is a power jam. Queen Laquifa not being able to pass there on 1 foot on the inside line. Bit of chaos. And we have lead for Queen Laquifa. Jammer already standing, so it was a good killing of the penalty time there for La Boucherie, although they do have to do initial. So Bouillou back on track with 1 star in hand. Back all the way stretched. Queen Laquifa using that to her advantage and being able to push out. Good offense there by Feinton, which we have seen this weekend a bunch. Queen Laquifa on a second scoring pass. And Bouillou still with the star in hand, no initial. And Queen Laquifa being recycled. Unfortunate jump there on the inside line by Bouillou, being recycled by Cherry Moshpit. In the meantime, Fenton doing the same with Queen Laquifa, so it's both jammers having to drop back. Empty box. No offense for the jammer of Antwerp. 8 points on the board for Antwerp. This was their 5th lead. Boucherie only had 1 lead in the first jam, although they did manage to score 14 points, while Antwerp has 23 at this point. Thank you, Anaël, for following us on the live stream. La Boulangerie. Bouillou did very well. It was an unfortunate jump with the first one where they managed to get a penalty. And the second jump was not concluded, although it was good. It was a nice jump. That's not what I'm referring to. It's just unfortunate that it was not concluded. So we have a team timeout called for Black. I think they want to restore the calm a bit. Seems a bit of an hectic start of the game. We are only 10 minutes in. You're welcome, Anaël. So this gives a breather to everyone, really. Also the officials that we see now. We have a really nice team of officials this weekend, skating and non-skating officials. So no game without the officials. A little bit of a weird stumble there by the pivot of Antwerp. And Silent Wheels versus Hipshot. First time these two face each other on the track. Silent Wheels on the inside, Hipshot in the middle. Oh! Silent Wheels with the fall. Penalty for Shelock. Hipshot on the scoring pass. Silent Wheels being recycled. Was a good bump there by Sarah Mitty-Jane. I'm missing an Antwerp. Oh no. Hipshot, second scoring pass. Silent Wheels still on initial with the star in hands. Nice. Good star pass. It was seen, but it was too quick for the Antwerp blockers. So Hipshot, third scoring pass. And Antwerp will be playing to empty the box, I believe. Pivot for Boucherie, Dory with the cover on. At this point, being recycled by Sarah Mitty-Jane. Antwerp, third scoring pass completed. Dory in the back of the pack. Good turn there by the Antwerp blockers in the back of the pack. Hipshot being recycled. No offense for either of the jammers. Hipshot being able to open that wall because of help of Dark Pistol. It did cost them a penalty though. Dory still stuck behind the wall of Antwerp. Two blockers in the box, one each. Dory really struggling there to have that wall broken up. Another 4 points on the board. This was not a power jam. I'm sorry for faltering over my words here. 20 points on the board for Antwerp, 4 for La Boucherie. Hard work is done by both teams here. 43 for Antwerp, 18 for La Boucherie. So for penalties wise, Boucherie has 8 and Antwerp has 6. We have seen that it is important for the penalty gain to keep your penalties under control. Wildcard with the lead. Good with the star pass, nicely done. Beautiful work there on the end of the engagement zone by Cabrita with the star pass of their jammer. Really working together and waiting for the exact moment, and then really having the Antwerp blockers with no answer to this. Beautifully done. 3 points on the board for Antwerp, 0 for La Boucherie. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in to our live stream. This is a kind reminder that you can do a small donation to our live stream. It's completely free, but we love it if you would donate and support local roller derby. In the meantime, Armadillo, beautiful jump there over Saramiti Jane on the inside line. Queen Laquifa being recycled. Armadillo, second time lead, second time this is Armadillo. So good job there for the jammer of La Boucherie. Queen Laquifa restoring the helmet cover. Shelock off to the box. And Armadillo with the call off. 3 points scored for La Boucherie. And Saramiti Jane also with a forearm penalty in the box. So this starts with a pack advantage for La Boucherie, who will be able to have 4 people on the box. I have the confirmation that the GemRef is showing that there is 1 point extra scored because of the box point. Team timeout this time for Boucherie. Penalty board so far. We have 2 penalties for Saramiti Jane and Shelock Holmes. Other people have 1 penalty. Saramiti Jane and Shelock together in the box at this point. And then for La Boucherie, 2 points for Nicolas Bach, and then equal spread with the 1 penalties. Normal derby blocker penalties mainly, and Bouillou with 1 cutting. So that's looking pretty okay. 15 minutes in. We have a nice group of people here shouting on the home team and, of course, the team from Paris. Nice to see. The people in yellow are volunteers, by the way, who are super excited to help in the tournament. So pack advantage is for Boucherie. But it is hip shot with the lead against Bouillou, who struggles with Sherry Moshpit there at the back of the pack, together with Majimbu, who is also the pivot. This leaves Hipshot without an offense, doing quite well. And Hipshot, of course, with the killing of the time, 2 blockers in the box, and Hipshot wants to make sure that both blockers are out. So they already did a scoring pass. No points for Boucherie. So great time, a great killing time at the end there. So 4 points extra for Antwerp and an empty box for Antwerp, plus bonus 1 extra in the box for Boucherie. Great jam. 50 points on the board, 22 for La Boucherie. Yeah, show some love for our Parisian team in the comments. Silent Wheels versus Wildcard. Good defense there by Antwerp. Not far from the jammer line with the jammer still behind them, and Wildcard with the lead. Offense there off on the wall for Antwerp. Little bit of a stumble there. Shelock Holmes off to the box again. And a blocking to the head by the Antwerp jammer. Second penalty for Wildcard. And we had I didn't see it, I'm sorry, I was looking somewhere else. We had a star pass by La Boucherie, but they probably did it very sneakily and good. So that's why I didn't see it. 3-1 for Antwerp, but they are struggling against that pivot who did score the 4 points there. Nicely done by Dory. Second time we see them jamming here as a pivot. Wall is rolling back. We have one bridge for Antwerp. Complete bridge out. Dory being recycled. Another penalty for the jammer and another penalty for Dark Pistol. Dory stuck behind the pivot of Antwerp, but nice offense. Beautiful work there by La Boucherie. Good control, good timing, and for Dory, it was a one straightway on the inside line. Beautifully done. Power jam now for the pivot. A little bit stuck there behind Shelock, Holmes. But the outside line is too far for the Antwerp blockers, and Dory manages to pass on the outside. Good job. 12 points on the board for La Boucherie. Good job. This was a great jam for La Boucherie. 4 points on the board for Antwerp. 2 penalties in one jam for your jammer. That is tough. So good control there. But still, 12 points on the board for Boucherie, 4 for Antwerp. And Antwerp has a penalty count of 12 and La Boucherie of 11. So quite evenly spread. Timeout called. Payet and Queen Laquifa were ready for it though. Antwerp is an... Antwerp is the hosting team here as well, and with the B team, we have the next game that we have lined up is the B team, our Pack of Destruction, the team from Antwerp against Rotterdam. So please be ready to check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. Many players will be playing their first game ever, so fun to see. Payet versus Queen Laquifa. Queen Laquifa with the hit against the jammer, bit of a stumble there in the middle of the pack. Payet trying on the outside line, inside line. Good there on the good work there on the corner, and it is Payet with the lead. Queen Laquifa trying those last blockers for La Boucherie. Good agile footwork, and Payet. Payet being hit and then trying to go for one more stretch. 1 point scored for Antwerp. Boucherie will be more, I think. 2 points for Antwerp. Yes, the coach did mention that there is someone in the box, but 3 points for Boucherie. Good job there. Nicely done. And then we have Armadillo versus Hipshot. I think our best performing jammers of both of the teams. A full pack for Antwerp. A one player down for La Boucherie. Nice there on the inside line by Armadillo, managing to pass that entire wall of Antwerp, who left quite a gap, and leaving Armadillo with the lead. But it is Hipshot closely behind, and we have a race. Skate, 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 Armadillo says. I cannot tell how many points were scored. It will be 2 or 1. 2 for Antwerp, and unfortunately 0 for La Boucherie. But Armadillo can still laugh. Dory has scored 16 points and Armadillo 13. So I'm sorry, the Armadillo is the Armadillo is a jammer, dedicated jammer, while Dory is the pivot. But they did have the amazing jam there with lots of the points in. So they are actually now the highest performing jammer for La Boucherie. We have Bouillou being stuck in the wall of Antwerp, and Wildcard battling that amazing tripod of La Boucherie. Really good job. Some offense there. Bouillou being recycled. Will Wildcard take this leap? Yes, it was only 1 left, and they did manage to skate past that final blocker. So initial still for Bouillou. And of course, Boucherie is ready for that for that star pass. One blocker down for Antwerp. Bouillou still in the back. Initial pass. One blocker down for Boucherie. Wildcard really struggling there with that strong low defense of Boucherie. Nice getting use out of your own wall. So they waited until the two walls aligned, taking the other side. But it cost Antwerp another player. So two players for Antwerp versus, or two blockers for Antwerp versus the wall, full wall of Boucherie. Bouillou in the front. Completing that scoring pass. Forearms penalty called on one of the blockers for Boucherie. Antwerp waiting to empty the box right at the time that Bouillou was returning into the pack to score some points, but they did score 1 point, 8 points in total for Antwerp, and two blockers down for La Boucherie. So we are going to start with a pack disadvantage for La Boucherie. They do still have their pivot, so that's always good. And Antwerp with the 66 and La Boucherie with 42, I'm sorry. We have Eau de Vilaine, first time jamming this game versus Armedillo, who does this incredible jumping on the inside line. Unfortunately, I was obviously saying that they were doing really well, and then they made the cut track penalty. But so it is a power jam for Eau de Vilaine against a two-wall of La Boucherie. So we have Eau de Vilaine pushing in the front. And a no-pack situation, but also a back block on the jammer of Antwerp. So we have a switcheroo. And now it is a power jam in favor of La Boucherie. Good back work there at the end of the power jam by Antwerp. Antwerp speeding up. And not fast enough to the line for Armedillo. Armedillo really good on those lines. It's incredible to see how well they managed to do that. Power jam in favor, so full offense. All the way to the line, people. But then they get stuck into that good offense, so good job. And then a penalty for a dark pistol. Armedillo causing a fall there in the wall of Antwerp. The offense not quite effective enough. And Eau de Vilaine quickly back out of the pack, completing that pass. Armedillo being hit out. Good job by the Antwerp blockers. Really good job. Eau de Vilaine on the second scoring pass. And we have the call off. That was a 2-minute jam. 4 points scored for La Boucherie. 6 points in total for Antwerp. This is a tough game. This is a tough game. So it's 72 for Antwerp and 46 for La Boucherie. And we still have 5 minutes on the board, a little bit more than 5 minutes. This is a tough game. If it's not a tough game, or if it's not over 100 points by halftime, I'm calling it a tough game. So let's have a look for the penalty board. Dark pistol with 4 penalties, wildcard with 3 penalties. That is a jammer, so that's pretty unfortunate. And then we have 2 and 1, so that's looking quite safe. Nick Labac with the 4 penalties, Le Big O with the 3 penalties, and then 1 or 2 each. So it's looking quite okay. I do feel that the penalties are costing the teams. So if the teams are having trouble with the scoring of the points or getting multiple scoring passes, I do think they should be looking at the penalty box. So that's for sure. So we have an official review. We'll see what this is about in a minute. Someone will tell me, and then I will tell you, and then we all get to be in the know for it. So this gives me some time to thank our sponsors. We have many sponsors for this tournament. So thank you so much for supporting us and the sport we call roller derby. This is Ayano, it's Prints on Glassware, Lila Bis Printwork, Hopono, Concept Store in Brussels, VP Media Solutions, video production company. We have Clo, vegan restaurant breakfast and lunch in Antwerp, D-Pro video production company, Martins, Belgian IPA, Sucker Punch, skate shop located in Ghent, Inframonkey, IT Solutions, and Gebroeders Scheens machinery production from Knik Mops and Roll Mops. And we're back. Small pack advantage for La Boucherie, one blocker down for Antwerp. Silent Wheels versus Hipshot. They asked, the official review was a back block called on probably the jammer of Antwerp, but no call stands. Silent Wheels with the lead. Hipshot having a bit of trouble there with the blockers for La Boucherie. Silent Wheels being brought to a full stop by the wall. And we had a bit of a tumble there. Silent Wheels was hit to the ground by Dark Pistol on the outside line. They did manage to score 3 points and a 0 for Antwerp. 49 versus 72. Tough game. And again, a pack advantage for Antwerp. Or this time a pack advantage for Antwerp. One blocker down for La Boucherie. Oh! Inside line was very clear there for Payet. Good job taking that side. And then Queen Laquifa battling against Dory, the pivot of La Boucherie. And so they are on their scoring pass, leaving 3 points for Antwerp since 2 blockers are in the box and they managed to score pass one person legally on the track. 3 points for La Boucherie. Twice the inside line there that gave Payet the wings they needed to pass that wall. Eau de Vilaine versus Armadillo, bit jammer on jammer action. Armadillo trying to kill sometimes for the blockers in the box. 2 blockers only for Eau de Vilaine, but the 2 wall is looking strong. Then we have a 3 wall of Antwerp. And Armadillo really struggling this time with passing them. No offense for either of the jammers. Freckles with a little bit of offense. Armadillo on the inside line. Nice, nice job. Then Eau de Vilaine is also through. Initial pass completed. This cost 1 blocker each. Check to the box. And Petit Tonnerre also in the box with a direction penalty. Bit of a fall there in the end. 4 points for La Boucherie, 0 for Antwerp. La Boucherie slowly but surely coming back, making the gap between both teams smaller. This was the 3rd lead in a row for Boucherie. Seeing where this game started, that's quite the feat for La Boucherie. 2 points scored for Antwerp there in the end, but 4 points for La Boucherie. 77 to 56. That's, there I go, 22 points? 21 points? Checking here. I'm very, very, very bad with math, so please forgive me. This is actually the final of our Holy Duck tournament with the 4 teams that are playing here. We had the amazing pleasure of having Antwerp Roller Derby as the host, number 13 in Europe, and then number 14 in Europe. That's La Boucherie. So those two teams are now battling it out. Then we had the Valencia Roller Derby, 15th team in Europe, and Namur, 18th team in Europe. And Namur played an amazing tournament because they won 2 games against both number 15 and number 14 in this tournament. So we're looking to see what happens. The official review is the high block that is being requested. I'm guessing on the jammer mainly. Another call or official review is always a little bit weird. So good tournament so far for Namur, who actually managed a 3rd place. But they did win against La Boucherie, who is now playing for the 2nd place. So I don't really know how that works because that's math, and I don't do math. But it looks very well, and I'm curious to see what this will do in the rankings. It's always great to have teams that are so close together in the rankings play each other, because it really tumbles everything over, and anything can happen because the teams are very well matched normally if they are so close in that position. So so the no call stands. No call stands. We have silent wheels with hip shots, 2 blockers in the box, including the pivot of La Boucherie. So each team starts with 3 blockers on the track, and we will start probably in a moment. So yeah, great. Gives me a little bit time to talk about Ute Rutz, who is a non-skating official today with us here, and they come from Dresden in Germany, and she plays with number 2222, which sounds like the end of a jam. So if they are a player, it's 2222, and then it sounds like the end of the jam. So it's a fun fact for you there. Please enjoy it. And we have the 5 seconds. Silent wheels trying to follow hip shot through their own wall, but it did not work. Silent wheels with the star in hand. And again, the inside line is really struggling there in Antwerp. Silent wheels being able to be quite close. And we have the call off. I can see Hipshot being a little bit disappointed in themselves, because we do have Czech still in the box, probably hoping to get them out. But fortunately, we do have the pivot of Boucherie also in the box. So 4 points scored for Antwerp, 81 versus 56. So 3 blockers each. Both blockers in the box are standing. Payet versus Queen Laquifa. Payet being recycled by the pivot of Antwerp, Majimbu, and that gives Queen Laquifa the opportunity to take the inside line. Payet with the star in hand, pivot not close, doing mainly defense and offense there. Really very compact pack there. And it is Queen Laquifa. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to get past on the outside line. And then again, La Boucherie with the amazing star pass. Like, Antwerp was not ready for that. It did not work, though. So I'm really sorry to the world that I was so excited. I was very excited. That looked really good. Petit Tonnerre throws the cover back for their jammer to pick it up when they are out of the pack. This is a power jam situation for Queen Laquifa. Already 8 points on the board. La Boucherie still on initial. And lead for Antwerp. 89 points on the board already. 56 for La Boucherie. And we have Payet picking up the cover there. And a little bit of a tumble for Queen Laquifa. Being recycled back. Penalty for 557 of La Boucherie. And again, with the nice star pass, this time it was not a star pass, it was a confusion-infused, almost star pass, but it was not. It did work though, but the pivot was hit out and Payet got through, but no initial pass here for La Boucherie. This means great work for the Antwerp defense, managing to score 12 points. It was a power jam. 93 and 56. Will Antwerp be able to pass the centennial mark? We'll see. Penalty count so far. Antwerp Roller Derby 17, Boucherie 20. Armadillo versus Eau-de-Vilaine on the track. One blocker for La Boucherie in the box. Armadillo flirting with that inside line. Saramiti Jane with the strong offense. Lead for Antwerp. Outside line was not the winner this time for Armadillo, star in hand. Signaling their pivot. And it worked. Another great star pass for La Boucherie. Eau-de-Vilaine looking at the other block, at the other jammer. Will they call? Dory in the wall of Antwerp. A penalty being called. Dark pistol off to the back. Star passes so far. La Boucherie 4 and Antwerp 0. Dory being recycled. This is a scoring pass already for La Boucherie, who have a pivot who is now jamming. And lead is for Eau-de-Vilaine of Antwerp, doing a scoring pass. Second scoring pass for, no, first scoring pass for Antwerp. And with the call off, 3 points scored for the team in black, 0 for La Boucherie. There at the end of that jam. And right at the end, before intermission, we have a centennial mark for Antwerp. So 100 points, 7 points scored on that final jam. And La Boucherie on 60. That's 4 points scored on the final jam. We are actually in the final of the Holy Duck tournament. We have Antwerp, first and highest ranking team here in facing La Boucherie de Paris. So Antwerp is ranked 13, La Boucherie is ranked 14. We'll see what happens after the weekend because the rankings will probably change. So I'm curious to see on what will happen. I'm not good with the ranking systems, by the way, so please don't make me do any assumptions. La Boucherie did lose against Namur in a very, very close game with a 10-point differential, a little bit more than 10 points. But they did win against Valencia. And Antwerp already has 2 wins against Valencia and Namur. So far, Antwerp is 40 points ahead of La Boucherie, but they have to work for it. It's not an easy game. Strong jammers, strong blockers, and Payet is now facing hip shot. Struggling a little against Saramiti Jane there, fall on the outside line. We have hip shot coming back for a scoring pass. There was a star pass to number 17 of La Boucherie, who is waiting for their offense, but their offense is being sent to the box. So we have a few people for La Boucherie doing dancing chairs in the penalty box, and the hip shot concluding a second scoring pass. The jammer of Boucherie is being recycled. No, it's not the jammer. The jammer cover is on the floor, so I don't really know what has happened. Oh yes, so Payet is still jammer. So this is a power jam. This was not clear right from the start. So also the blockers didn't know, I'm guessing. And we'll see what will happen next. Saramiti Jane on the offense for hip shot. really good in the opening up the gaps for the jammer. Unfortunately, Hipshot is being recycled by La Boucherie. Payet in the wall of Antwerp on the initial. And Hipshot on the outside line, trying to push past all of those blockers. Good reforming. Now we do have a legal star pass to Petite Tonnière, but Hipshot said, let's call it off. I'm not being recycled one more time. And we have one blocker in the box for La Boucherie. 16 points extra on the board. It was a confusing moment, but we did have a power jam in this first jam of the second half for Antwerp. And we only have one person in the hot seat, or not in the hot seat yet, but Dark Pistol has 5 penalties. And then for the rest, it's looking quite good for everyone. Silent Wheels in the middle, pushing through, but the lead is for Wildcard. Antwerp is doing a really good job of keeping it slower. The start of this game was pretty fast, and I do feel that that is more of a Boucherie's way of playing. Antwerp is a little bit of a slower pace kind of team. Silent Wheels on the scoring pass, and Antwerp concluding a second scoring pass there. So extra 4 points on the board for Antwerp. And for now, no points scored for La Boucherie in the second half, but it might change with Armadillo on the jammer line. Boucherie looking at 26 penalties and Antwerp looking at 18. So that's quite a big difference. In the beginning it was quite evenly spread, but Antwerp has found their cool. But La Boucherie is struggling maybe a little, and they do have 2 people in the box now, including the pivot. So Armadillo in the back. We haven't even passed the jammer line at that point. A little bit of a tumble. Sarah Mitty Jane there with the final straw, but Armadillo really speeding up that wall and managing to get lead. So this time it was the speed that really helped the jammer to go forward. Start pass for Antwerp to Lieutenant Savage. One blocker in the box for Antwerp, Sarah Mitty Jane. Whoa! Did you see that jump? Very impressive by Armadillo, jumping there almost the entire corner there, and scoring the first 4 points of the second half. 64 for La Boucherie and 124 for Antwerp. An exact 60-point differential. Eau-de-Vilaine versus Payet. Payet with the pack advantage and getting a lot of use of it. And then Eau-de-Vilaine right with the star pass. And Eileen also went to the box there at the end. We have a speeding up of the pack. Payet managing not to pass, I think, Cherry Moshpit, but many other players. 3 points scored, 0 for Antwerp. And Antwerp still has 2 blockers in the box. They are standing. Boucherie also 1 player in the box. 3 points extra on the board for La Boucherie. So it's speed for me. That's a defining moment that Antwerp kind of loses their cool a little, and Boucherie does well with speed. Silent Wheels there, up against a very strong 2-wall there of Shelock and Lieutenant Savage. Not strong enough though, so Silent Wheels with the lead, and Hipshot with the cover in hand on the inside line. A cutting of the track penalty, and you see Hipshot having like a moment because they were still able to get lead, but they took off the cover. And Sarah Mitty Jane again in the box. So we have Silent Wheels with the pivot in the box for La Boucherie. Good offensive work there. Good offensive job there by the blockers for Antwerp, leaving a lot of space for their jammer. And again, with the offense, we have a speeding up of the pack. Hipshot really nicely slicing their way through that Boucherie defense. Silent Wheels returning to the track. I believe they have to do a new initial, and then a hip shot already on a third scoring pass. Highest achieving jammer for Antwerp. Silent Wheel still with the cover on. Hip shot struggling a little, but managing to push past the 117 of La Boucherie. Silent Wheels close by. No lead, that's why we have no call off. So Silent Wheels just finished the initial pass and is able to score points. And hip shot struggling there. Really strong three-wall in the back. Nice low blocking against the Antwerp jammer. It was in, so a nice tiptoe on the inside line. And an extra 4 points on the board for Antwerp. 16 in total, but I do believe La Boucherie also 3 points for that last jam. 140 for Antwerp in total, and La Boucherie 70. So Antwerp is creeping away from La Boucherie. We were looking at a 60-point differential just before. Now we have a 70-point differential. We started the halftime with I don't know how many points differential. Bit of a fall there, and we do have Armadillo 40 points in the halftime, and Wildcard off to the penalty box, and dare I say it again, they've had a few penalties, and then against Armadillo, a jammer that we don't want to give a power jam to, because the jammer of La Boucherie has done an incredible job already this entire tournament. So great to see that jammer working their way around. Even now, like 1 foot on the outside line, Antwerp did not kiss the line properly, and therefore Armadillo was able to pass with an ease almost. Very beautiful to see. Offense on the inside line, nice. Armadillo with jump on the straightaway. It was not good enough for Majimbu, who is also the pivot, and with the star pass, nice viewing, nice taking opportunity of that moment there. And the inside line was cleared. Wildcard with the final hit on the inside line. And we have a call off from Armadillo, 4 points on the board extra, so 12 if I'm not mistaken, or only 2 scoring passes? At least a 0 for Antwerp. So we are 10 minutes in this final halftime of the people playing the Holy Duck tournament. We will have another game at the end there. We have Payet facing Queen Laquifa. Queen Laquifa with the lead. La Boucherie, another blocker to the box. Payet there, really working that wall. Saramiti Jane close to Dory at the pivot of La Boucherie. A fall at the end of the pack for Queen Laquifa on her first scoring pass. Shafwin, who is now returning to the track, is also on 5 penalties for this game. Scoring pass done for Queen Laquifa. La Boucherie, Payet close for another scoring pass. We don't go for the call-off. Payet pushing the blockers of Antwerp to the ground. Multiplayer block there for Saramiti Jane. Another tumble. Looked quite painful. Payet tumbled on Shelock. Did get a penalty for it. That was a back block. Saramiti Jane is also on 5 penalties. So we have a few people really going at it with the penalties. And it's not necessary, I think. The game is quite good. So for Antwerp, we have 2 people on 5 penalties. And wildcards on 4 for a jammer. That's quite a lot. But a lot of people without any penalties, which is good. For Boucherie, we have Shafouin. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to say your name, like probably very badly. 5 penalties, but then we have more people with 4 penalties in this team. Only Dory, who has been doing an incredible job, has been playing a lot, has done some jamming, pivoting, all the works, has no penalties. So kudos to Dory. Antwerp did start very strongly, I believe, on the second half with a strong dominance, opening up and making more point differential count. 148 for Antwerp and 82 for La Boucherie. La Boucherie, I would have guessed that they would have been closer to the centennial mark up to now. But they've been struggling a little, I think, with the dominance from Antwerp's side. Now I think it will be a case of making sure you don't have any fallouts and that you can start with 4 on the track as much as possible. This is a power start for Antwerp. And Audevillain, nice footwork there on the outside line. Penalty though for Antwerp. So small group of blockers. Luckily, the jammer of Boucherie is still sitting. Another penalty for Antwerp. Offense by Majimbu, who is alone for her team now, together with Sarah Mitijane. Audevillain being recycled. And the jammer back on track. End of a scoring pass for Payet. Forearms penalty called on the pivot for Boucherie. Payet first scoring pass. I believe this is the end of the first scoring pass for Audevillain. So we're rolling a bit. But strong defense. Antwerp has found their reset. And then, but the same can be said for Boucherie, although Czech is going in for the offense, they still have 1 blocker in the box. It's their pivot, and so their jammer is really struggling there, and they go for the call off. 4 points on the board, 3 points for La Boucherie, 8 points on the board for Antwerp. I'm confused where those 3 points for La Boucherie come from. Probably from a scoring pass. But they were not on the track yet. I am sorry, I don't know where those 3 points, those 3 points are coming from. But the 8 points are from Antwerp. I don't know where they are coming from. 2 scoring passes by Audevillain. Silent Wheels versus a hip shot there. Hip shot really trying to open up that wall. Look at that strength. Silent Wheels more on the footsie side, trying out and in to open up that wall of Antwerp. Antwerp for a full defense. And then hip shot going around, ready for the first scoring pass. Silent Wheels still on initial, star in hand, but their pivot is in the box. Wow, Petitonière did a great hit there. It was not enough. Hipshot did manage to jump over it, but it was still very beautiful. I enjoy it when it's beautiful. And then Hipshot again for a second scoring pass. Very strong defense. 2 wall in the front for Antwerp. Sarah Mitijane pushing Silent Wheels to the ground together with Eline, but it is the end of the initial pass for Silent Wheels. Some offense for Hipshot, who is trying to score as many points there in the end for their team. And they did score another 4 points. So 2 scoring passes completed for Antwerp in this jam. 164 to 85 for La Boucherie. So we're almost looking at an 80-point differential, which is double what it was during halftime. And this is also, Antwerp has a double amount of lead than La Boucherie, 20 versus 10. Oh, A little bit of a weird fall there for Dory. Armadillo quickly there, pushing through that pack, really speeding it up, and that's not Antwerp's game for sure. We have Wildcard who is struggling in the front of the pack, going for the star pass. It's like Antwerp read a little note what Boucherie does and learned how to do the sneaky star pass there. Nice in the corner. But no points for Antwerp and 4 points for La Boucherie. Beautifully done there by Armadillo, who is doing an incredible job. I love to see them playing. They have nice spirit. They're very forceful, but have the nice tiptoeing, which we love to see from our jammers, like the beautiful footwork. An official timeout. No, an official review has been. Oh no, it's a team time. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it now, but everything changed on my board, and it's an official review. I believe called by Antwerp. So in a moment, we will know what this is about. We are looking at 4 more points for La Boucherie, who are now at 89, and 164 for Antwerp. It's a good game. I'm really happy with how this is going. I think Antwerp has kind of found their mojo in the second half. La Boucherie is kind of struggling a little maybe with following that up, but they still manage to get few leads in, to get those to get some extra points in, so they're not giving it away easily. So it's nice to see. I love that kind of derby. So happy with everyone who is watching with me together on the live stream. So another shout out that you can donate to the live stream if you're enjoying it. We have been doing our best this entire weekend to bring you the most beautiful derby there is. So really happy. The request is a forearm on the jammer for Antwerp. And yeah, so Antwerp is requesting a forearm penalty on Armadillo. We'll see if the no call stands. No call stands, yes. And we still have 15 minutes on the clock, so this halftime is only half. So we're going to the last 15 minutes of this half, where we have Antwerp facing La Boucherie de Paris. And both teams, before coming to the Holy Duck, had won 3 games prior, all pretty international. So the teams are pretty well matched, I think. Queen Laquifa, beautiful on the outside line there, really using their own blockers as an offense. Payet still struggling behind the scattered wall a little of Antwerp. And of course, the pivot, as always, very close. So are we going for a star pass? Is Antwerp better prepared than they have been during a couple of times? I do think so. They have had their eyes on the pivot much more than in the beginning or in the first half, like now. So we do have a star pass, I believe. Yes. And we have our pivot of Boucherie Bouillou, who has also been jamming quite a lot. Who is on the scoring pass now. Queen Laquifa ending the second scoring pass. Bouillou being recycled by Saramiti Jane. So first scoring pass for La Boucherie, third scoring pass for Queen Laquifa, who's making the most of it. Taking a nasty fall there. That was just like a skimpy little hit on the hip, but it was enough. And that final hit was an illegal hit, and we now have a power jam with Bouillou as the pivot gun jammer in the penalty box. And then Queen Laquifa on the scoring pass. I do believe that that was a two-minute jam. Or it was called off, who knows? And 4 points extra, 4 points also for La Boucherie, so 12-4 on that final jam. It was 176 for Antwerp on the board and 93 for La Boucherie. Small pack for La Boucherie. They will start with a power jam against and 2 blockers in the box. So 2 blockers on the track, and Antwerp with a full pack of blockers. So that's quite the pack advantage there. Chafouin, who is now in the box, is on 6 penalties. So we might be seeing a fallout there. Don't want to jinx it. Sorry if I did. So we'll see what happens. And look at these amazing signs that were made. This is Mira, who is twins with our wild card from Antwerp. Family is all there. Really, really happy that the family is coming around to see their siblings play. It's so much fun. Getting support from your family is the best. And we are in the final 12 minutes of this game. And I was talking about the wins that La Boucherie had before coming to the Holy Duck. So they played Montpellier in France, the Aguinas from Italy, and Barcelona before coming to the Holy Duck. All wins. Antwerp had a winning streak as well. They played against Bear City from Berlin, Stockholm from Sweden, and Switchblade from France. And those were all wins as well. Strong team. So, and Eau de Vilaine, nice with the offense there. Good job by the Antwerp blockers. Not giving it away, making sure that they had the offense for their jammer going. Eau de Vilaine really able to pass there quite quickly. And again, check with the good offense there on the outside line, leaving a huge gap for the jammer. And now it was a little bit confusing because Bouillou has also been jamming and Payet has also been jamming, so it was quite confusing. But Antwerp was on top of the game and they knew who to stop. So we have a scoring pass, an initial pass for Boucherie, and the pivot is now doing defense. They did leave quite a gap on the outside line for Eau de Vilaine to pass, who has now completed 3 scoring passes. Very good. Payet, who is again in the box, is on 6 penalties too. Quite a few people in the hot seat. Eau de Vilaine battling against that 3-wall for La Boucherie. Bleeding 1 blocker out. Helfrea with the penalty. Bouillou still on initial, star in hand, struggling against that really strong defense from Antwerp, who are managing to keep the jammer for 1.5 minutes. Eau de Vilaine on 4th scoring pass, but struggling to get that wall moving. 4 scoring passes is quite a lot, so bit of offense from Cherry Moshpit. It was not enough to really get the wall very much going. Recycling by Cherry Moshpit and Majimbu. That was again a 2-minute jam. We've seen quite a lot of 2-minute jams, I think. And hard work. 16 points on the board for Antwerp. 0 points on the board for La Boucherie. Very good, benefiting from that from that power jam there in the beginning. And no initial for La Boucherie. So very strong dominant jam for Antwerp. The penalties are looking 26 for Antwerp and 40 for La Boucherie. We have hip shot facing silent wheels. We've seen them play each other quite a lot. And the hip shot passes the wall right before the pivot line. Silent wheels struggling 2-wall and 3-wall of Antwerp, getting offense from their pivot, but it's not enough to get the wall really going. Saramiti Jane and Lieutenant Savage, beautiful duo blocking there in the back of the pack. Some offense from Shelock, but the power, look at that power of hip shot really. Dance and then a little dance at the end. That's what we love to see, and they did it, of course, right in front of the audience. So big applause for hip shot on completing that first pass so beautifully. Shelock did manage to hit the jammer out. Pivot gun jammer, 1 foot out. This was a cutting of the track penalty. Le Big O is now in the box. Power jam for hip shot. who calls it off, freezing the jammer in the box. I don't know, the points are not pointing. Le Bigot is also on 5 penalties. 196 for Antwerp, 93 for Boucherie. So the second half, really, Antwerp is showing their dominance. We went from a 40-point differential in the first half to a 100-point differential at this point in the game. We still have 8 minutes on the clock. Wildcard with the power jam. Antwerp playing the long shot, hoping Wildcard is able to push that wall out of play. But that wall is super strong though, so it's not an easy thing to do. Jammer for La Boucherie, almost back on track, so nice killing of that penalty time by La Boucherie. And Antwerp recycling the jammer a little. And we're going again, of course, for the pivot and the star pass. Pivot has fallen down and is now behind behind the wall. Wildcard completing their pass there beautifully on the outside line. A bit of a step over the legs of the blockers. And then we have the pivot with the star in hand, pivot gun jamming in the front of the pack, still on initial for La Boucherie. Wildcard on the second scoring pass. Did manage to get Antwerp farther away with 204 on the board. And the call-off, making sure La Boucherie cannot score any points. So Antwerp is doing an incredible job of running away from La Boucherie. 206 on the board for Antwerp. So we did have 2 scoring passes in that last jam of hip shot, and 93 on the board for La Boucherie, who do have a little bit of a, they had a few power jams against, they had a smaller pack, they had fewer blockers on the track, so I'm really hoping they can recover a little from it. Hopefully with Armadillo, who has been doing an incredible job this tournament, and Queen Laquifa on the jammer line, we will see some beautiful derby here as well. It's an official timeout where we have some people running towards rolling towards the NSOs. Professor McGonigal double checking if the point count is correct. And we're doing a great job here. It's been an amazing tournament so far, so it's nice to see how much a derby community can really achieve with all of these people here. Volunteers, coaches, officials, non-skating officials, the crowd, and of course the players. But the players are mainly for decoration. Next jam we will start with a full pack, so 4 blockers each, which is good to see. I'm sorry for that noise there. I was drinking. I hope no one is disgusted by that. Yes. Bit of a long official timeout, so maybe I can talk a bit more. There's something else I wanted to say. We've had this incredible artwork for the Holy Duck. And it's one of the ex-members of Antwerp Roller Derby who did all the drawing. It's Manu Gijsbrechts with Aunanas on Instagram. And then we had our very own Ines doing the design with the drawing, so it was really cool. Armadillo getting stuck behind the wall, and it is Queen Laquifa with the quick lead there on the outside line. Beautifully done there because the offense for La Boucherie was pretty strong. Queen Laquifa on first scoring pass, Armadillo still on initial. And number 13 of Antwerp really pushing low there, trying to really get that wall moving. Armadillo quickly behind, putting the jammer cover on, trying to... Good with the call-off there for Antwerp. 3 points on the board for Antwerp, 0 for La Boucherie. 209 for Antwerp and 93 for La Boucherie. Eau de Vilaine versus Silent Wheels. And again, a full pack. Eau de Vilaine waiting until Silent Wheels is stuck. But the good offense there on the inside line, leaving a big gap for Silent Wheels, getting Silent Wheels to the lead and on a scoring pass, while Eau de Vilaine is still just now done with the initial. Silent Wheels has this incredible move of going out, in, and really stretching out that wall to go for, to make those holes. It looks incredible, and it does seem to work quite well. And they did score 1 point. Unfortunately, only 1 point for La Boucherie. I would love to see them go past the 100 marker in the in the following 5 minutes. So let's all try for that. So Antwerp 209, Boucherie 94, point differential of 105 points. Hip shot versus Bouillou. And hip shot with the lead. Bouillou struggling a little there behind that tree wall. 115 point differential. I probably said something wrong. And then hip shot there, beautiful foot still in, dancing on that inside line. Oh, it was so beautiful, so beautiful. And still initial for Bouillou, who's, I thought they were against Saramiti Jane, but no. And it's a star pass again to a player, the pivot of, no, now it is a star pass to the pivot of Boucherie. Nice job. I do think Antwerp improved with seeing these coming. And hip shot there, battling all alone on a 4-wall of, and again, incredible strength. Someone said it in the comments as well. It's true. The way they push through that wall is really incredible to see. Dory was last blocker standing, but was no feat for the strength of hip shot. We have Petit Tonnière now, pivot gone jamming, who has is on the first scoring pass, hip shot on the 4th scoring pass, and we have come to a standstill, and then the chaos ensues. Hip shot again on the inside line, accelerating right at the right moment. Beautifully done. Petit Tonnière being recycled, so that must be very disheartening to have happened. And hip shot already on 5th scoring pass. Petit Tonnière still on the 1st scoring pass. This was again a 2-minute jam. Choo! Oh, I would be so tired. 4 minutes, 4 points for La Boucherie. They deserved it. And another 3 points for Antwerp. 228 for Antwerp, 98 for La Boucherie. I should be able to do this math, 130 points. Armadillo versus Wildcard. Wildcard trying to go through their own wall, but by breaking up the wall, they did leave a little space for Armadillo, and Armadillo only needs that little bit of sliver really to keep going. We have Wildcard trying to go for the pivot cover, for the pivot, but the pivot is not taking the star, so that must be very frustrating. Armadillo completing a first scoring pass and bringing La Boucherie finally over the 100 marker. 102 for La Boucherie. Nicely done there by Armadillo. And we do have a star pass for Antwerp from Wildcard to Majimbu, who is now putting on the star. Armadillo, second scoring pass. Taking no risks, calling it off. 3 points scored for a second scoring pass. So 7-0 for La Boucherie. And we have Silent Wheels versus Queen Laquifa. Less than a minute on the board for this half. Oh, they turned so beautifully around Lieutenant Savage. Unfortunately, it was not enough. Saramiti Jane was there. And they did recycle the jammer all the way back. And that gives Queen Laquifa just enough time and space to go for the lead. Silent Wheels with the fall at the end, but the Antwerp blockers are not fast enough to catch them again. And Queen Laquifa on the scoring pass. Silent Wheels being recycled. Queen Laquifa at the end of the first scoring pass. Silent Wheels also on the scoring pass, but second time being recycled, this time from an apex jump on the inside line. Queen Laquifa passing on the outside their own wall, now battling against the really strong defense by La Boucherie. Silent Wheels having a bit of trouble there by the really strong tripod of Antwerp. One more blocker for Queen Laquifa, but it is Petite Tonnière, and they did manage to push the jammer out, and Queen Laquifa is like, no. Time is over. I will call it off. So for the lead stats, people who are interested, OLRD or Antwerp had 27 times lead, Boucherie 13. And for the penalties, I don't think we had a fallout in the end. Boucherie had 42 penalties and Antwerp 27, so really good job there. This means that Antwerp will be the first winner of their own tournament, of the Holy Dog tournament, and they are rightfully celebrating. It was an incredible job, especially that second half of this game. I loved to see it. It was so good. So, but La Boucherie also great job with not giving up and battling until the final points. 236 for Antwerp, 107 for La Boucherie. This was an incredible, incredible game to watch. This concludes the tournament part of Holy Duck.